It's good morning, Dr. Susannah Ward. Thanks for joining us at Yellow Shelf.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to
It
be
is my pleasure. Congratulations. Your book is out now,
here.
Mastering Real Wellness. Congratulations. Tell us all about the book.
Well, it took a long time to finalize and get it out there, so it is a bit of a huge achievement. But basically, I just had no choice. I had to write this book. I'd become a little bit very passionate about what I call real wellness, as opposed to a lot of what's portrayed in the media. And it stemmed from all my training as a doctor and also as a yogi and my self-study in neuroscience and my addiction to self-help books. I was like, and then also meeting my patients and seeing there is such um, a spectrum of people that are well and not well, but it has nothing to do with how old they are, what diseases and disabilities they have, what stuff they do with their spare time, how they eat, whether or not they do, wellnessy things. It actually had way more to do with the relationship they hold with themselves and what I call self-mastery. So I wrote this book all about it, and it's 4 parts. And the first part is sort of debunks the myth of wellness, and I propose my personal definition of mastery of real wellness. And then I go through in each part tools and skills, drawing on all the lineages of the third wave psychologies like ACT therapy, DBT, CBT, mindfulness, all that stuff, along with my medical background, all the knowledge that I had to sort of bring you a diverse mix of skills and tools to develop the 3 parts of self-mastery, which is 1, self-awareness, 2, self-acceptance, and 3, adaptive self-management or self-care. And if you can do those things most of the time, knowing, we're human and there's slips and trips, that's for sure. But that's that recipe to a lifestyle of real wellness. And you can have that no matter where you're at in your lifetime.
Yeah, and just on from that. And then we can all live our best lives.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that we get so trapped up in shoulds and comparisons and people pleasing and keeping up with Joneses that we really miss out on making the most of what we've got. And sometimes even our efforts and pursuits of, perfect health and wellness can make things worse. So you don't want to live in that destructive zone of not accepting yourself, actually. And we can do that blindsided without realizing that's what we're doing. So it is a bit of an art form to say, hey, this is where I'm at. Some parts are not ideal, and I still want to work towards X, but you're doing it in a really accepting, functional, and compassionate human way. Does that make sense?
It makes absolute sense. I feel like I've been there. I've been on that.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're never not there. It's like a constant
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
see that with my patients, there's so many little steps of adjustment. But as soon as they go, oh, got it, yeah, pull back a bit there, accept and work with that. I may not be able to do what I want,
Yeah.
but if I really see it for what it is and accept it, then I can deal with it properly. And then they end up doing better with better outcomes and they feel great about themselves because they're developing that sense of agency.
Yeah, and I'd love to know about, is this your first book? Can I just check in on that?
Yes.
Yes. Congratulations. Tell us about the journey of being a writer, as opposed to a day job. How was that journey as far as writing the book?
Well, it started in primary school where I was terrible at spelling and grammar, and I've never been interested in it. I thought it was a waste of time. I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's not for me. And then in high school, I was general English, basically. And then in uni, I was a scientist. So I've got a lot of background in research writing and journals and things like that. I did a thesis, several honors years. So that's my background. But then I guess I tried to approach the self-help book, writing it exactly the way I would want to read it, which is really clear, succinct, with key points
Yeah,
and structure.
yeah,
Lots of examples, but reader-centric and upbeat and super practical. So it was challenging, but I had a really great editor that helped me. Is it going to be the best work I've ever done? God, I hope not, and I hope there's more. But you just got to get out there and do it. Like
yeah,
I'm sure like a lot of
yes,
your authors would
yeah,
agree, it's painful letting it out there. But as a perfectionist and life's short, move on. Right? Yeah.
yes, yeah.
There can be other versions of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just check in? I know I've seen this book on Amazon. Where, if we're curious about you, if we're curious about the book, where do we go? I'll put this in the show notes to make it easy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I follow you on, I was just chatting about your Instagram page, your website. Tell us about where you'd like us to go if we're curious.
Instagram's fun, and I do try to upload there regularly. So that's at AX Collective. My website has everything. So if you Google Ataraxia Collective,
Yes.
which is a Stoic term for bliss,
Yes.
not readily used in Australia, terrible for a URL because everyone doesn't know how to say it or spell it. But I'm a stubborn person. I really like it, so I've stuck with it. But that's got the book there, and yeah, you can buy it on Amazon. If you're a doctor, then come to one of my retreats. I do these CPD and wellbeing retreats. So that's at the moment what I'm doing. Yeah, and if anyone does read the book and has a review or anything, I would love that feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I'll put the details for the website to make it really easy for anyone listening to go there. Lots of information on the website about your retreats, workshops, all about you. I think that's a great starting point. I did pick up there. You said there might be more books. That's exciting for Yellow Shelf.
Yes. Well, I really feel like I need to write one for doctors, like mastering medicine or something. And that would be something I need to make time for. And yeah, I just always have ideas, but it's
Yeah,
whether or not I can find the time to do
yeah,
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you do write in the future, when the time's right, I would love to have you back. And I also know I'm going to cheekily mention this. We were talking offline. You're going to have a podcast soon.
Yes, with my dad. He's also local in this area, Dr. John Ward. He's a bit older than me. He's turning 81 today, actually. Today's his birthday. I'm going to his house
Yay.
tonight. And I'm in my mid 40s. And he just won the New South Wales Australian Senior of the Year. And he's still
Oh,
working and just changing the world and being being an amazing doctor. And he's a geriatrician. I'm a rehab physician. So we're
yes.
both obsessed with wellness
Yeah.
and longevity and interested in these things. And I was like, Dad, and I would love to have this resource for my patients.
Yeah.
And also, I know lots of health professionals that would appreciate that. So we're going to do this podcast. It's only 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Um, and it's getting Dad's amazing expertise and wisdom, who is literally, outliving his genes and doing the most amazing job and killing it at 81.
Yeah.
And then me as a rehab physician obsessed also with, real wellness. And we get expert speakers and we talk about the pillars of longevity, but not just about getting old.
Yep.
It's about getting old the way you want to. So I meet a lot of patients that are like, oh yeah, I want to travel when I retire. I'm like, well, maybe we should start doing some weights, because you're struggling to get out of a chair. So I
Yeah.
feel like people need to think more about function, which is what
Yep.
rehab medicine is all about. So it's a bit fun. Dad's very good at this and he's super cute. So I'm hoping that it's, useful and really simple and practical, but also a little bit entertaining.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday to Dr. Ward today. And I'm determined to get you back on Yellow Shelf, maybe you and your dad to share about the podcast once
Let's
you
see
dive
what.
in. That'd be wonderful. But in the meantime, your book is out now. I'll put the details in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us today, Susannah.
Pleasure. Too
Cheers.
easy. Have a great day.
Cheers.